The images you are about to see may shock and disturb you.
Oh, shit!
Frighten and confuse you.
Oh, shit!
We are deep in the dark recesses of Cassandra's Labyrinth, in the guts of one of the most terrifying haunted house attractions in America.
Check out the colors on that.
But first, we're going to show you how we built this house of horrors from the studs up. I'm surrounded with a team of Fright House fanatics who take their job very seriously. For them, this isn't some roadside attraction. This is an art form. It is the art of the Fright House. We are going to take you where no civilian has ever gone before. And along the way, I'll toss you DIY tips for quick and easy ways to take your Halloween scene up a notch. A big notch. So grab a notebook, hold on tight. This is Fright House, Secrets Revealed. We're here in Terrell, Texas, where we're transforming what used to be a carnival-themed funhouse into a mind-blowing 3D fright-tastic experience. This is Thrillvania. 50 acres of America's best haunts, and home to 8 of the scariest attractions you will ever set foot in. Okay, here's the plan. They had 4 weeks to take this 5,000 square foot labyrinth of terror and crank up the scare to an entirely new level.
Each one of these dark, outdated rooms will be revamped into bright, cutting-edge 3D scare rooms.
But there's only 2 days left to go until the opening, and there is still a ton of work to get done. Let's see if they can pull this off.
Let's meet the players. Steve, the haunt boss.
I got in the haunts more as a business. I've done over 100 haunts over a 30-year period and have scared millions of people.
Dan, the designer.
I initially started talking to Steve about this project, and he was thinking about changing this haunted house over, completely gutting it, starting from scratch, and thought that 3D would lend itself well to this attraction.
Then there's the dedicated team leaders.
I've been working for Thrillvania for almost 20 years.
18th year working here at Thrillvania.
For 23 years.
Sanders is going to be great because it hasn't changed in so many years.
It's something that we never had around here, and it's something that's well overdue.
Everybody deserves to be scared. We all need to scare everybody. I think it's fun.
And the hardworking support crew.
America, I need you to come on out and see this 3D haunted house.
After 13 years with a clown motif, the old layout has been stripped down to load-bearing walls and now is a clear canvas for a whole new design. These narrow hallways and chambers will become individual scenes of an elaborate labyrinth.
The concept here with this attraction is that you're traveling through Cassandra's insane mind.
To help you from getting lost during the renovation, we'll use 3D graphics to pinpoint our location along the way. As the team started framing out new walls and reshaping the labyrinth, the entrance of the new layout becomes the Skull Room. The Skull Room is the first room as you enter the haunt, and it needs a lot of work. After more than a decade of Texas thunderstorms, rain-damaged flooring was the first on the to-do list in the Skull Room.
The floor here is rotted out so bad that we're having to take off the layers that we put on. We're going to take it right down and put new joists down and new floors right on top of it.
The floors are so rotted that you can see what lies beneath. The team uses crowbars and claw hammers to pry up all the damaged floors. But before they can lay down the new floor, they have to make sure the structure beneath is still safe and sturdy to withstand thousands of feet that will trudge through here in a few weeks. Meanwhile, the truck arrives carrying the many molded plastic vacuform panels that will line the walls of the haunt. The vacuform panels are unloaded, the Skull Monster animatronic comes off the truck and is ready to get to work. Final floorboards are being installed. With the floors done, Jeff dons a costume of his own to paint. Back and forth, a paint gun makes coating large surfaces a quick and easy job. In no time, Jeff is done and ready to start bringing in the Sea of Skulls. With the floor in and painted, it's time for the vacuform walls to go up and down. Willie decides it's probably better to secure the vacuform panels instead of just leaning them against the wall. The mission is to fill every inch of this room, wall to wall, with skulls. Each panel dovetails to interlock together like pieces to a puzzle in order to hang them right.
We got all this up pretty much the first day. We didn't have quite as many pieces as we really needed, so we've got some more ordered, and those are on their way. We're also going to paint them all with the ultraviolet paints. So when they're reacting under the black light, mixed with the chroma-depth glasses, these skulls are gonna produce a very disorienting type illusion.
Dan and I were both excited to see how the paint would work on vacuform panels. So we put the paint of various colors on about a dozen skulls, and we tested it with the glasses, and we're both very excited. We got a ton of movement. It was far better than we could have imagined.
Another great way to decorate for Halloween is using fluorescent paint. Just go down to the craft store and pick out one of the many spooky colors that they have. Throw up some artwork just like that. And then at the hardware store, you can pick up one of these. This is a black light. And what happens is that the UV rays excite all the fluorescent particles that's inside the paint. And when you turn off the lights, boom, will make your artwork fright-tastic.
The crew starts on the next project, the boiler room. This area will soon take on an industrial look. The team figures out that this boiler animatronic is far too large to fit through the door, so they decide the only way to get it inside is to cut a big hole on the outside of the haunt.
Well, it looks like we ran into another height clearance issue with the boiler animation here. Might cut off some of the top plastic there so that we got clearance, but now we're also gonna have to cut the frame down a little bit so that we can swing it up into place. Our ceiling clearance is 95 inches and this is 96 inches, so just a little off.
With the animatronic snugly in place, the crew quickly trims the vacuform panels to fit the abnormal ceiling height. Then Mike creates a classic haunt gag.
We're going to do a unique effect, and it's a pretty easy effect to do. It's called a drop-down portrait. The first thing you'll need to do is select an area to put it, and it's going to be about the size of a picture, or around 24 inches by 32 inches. And then I'll use a jigsaw to jigsaw everything out, and this piece gets thrown away. The next thing you'll do is you'll actually cut a piece of wood, which is going to be your portrait. And you're going to be about an inch or inch and a half on each side.
2x2 pine is screwed into the walls about a ½ inch wider than the thickness of the drop portrait as guide tracks for the panel to travel in. Mike also attaches a gate latch and a handle to secure the panel in the closed position.
And then when you're ready for the scare, you pull up on the gate latch, come out, and you scare somebody. Awesome, awesome effect.
Coming up, it's too big to fit through the door.
We didn't have a door wide enough.
And it's headed for a room where every inch counts. I'm in Cassandra's Labyrinth, deep in the heart of Texas, where they do everything big. This haunted attraction is taking on a whole new dimension. In fact, it's 3-dimensional.
The renovation of Cassandra's Labyrinth is well underway. The skull room panels have gone up, and the boiler room is coming together as pipes are hung and the drop window has fallen into place. Now it's time to begin construction on the mine shaft. Traveling through the haunt, we reach a narrow opening where the crew will build a mirror gag that has you looking down into what seems to be a very deep shaft. First order of business is to build a sophisticated fire suppression system, originating in the mine shaft room and spanning throughout the entire labyrinth in order to keep the patrons and property safe. This is called a dry system, meaning the water stays out of the pipes until needed when triggered by the sensitive sprinkler heads.
It's a quick response head. When the thermal temperature in the building reaches the 200-degree mark, this head will release and the water will flood the system and suppresses the fire.
And that water supply sits waiting to come to the rescue in Thrillvania's 15,000-gallon water tank.
In your haunted house, you may have some candles burning. And if you have any fabric next to them, make sure that it is flame retardant. And always always have a fire extinguisher nearby. This will ensure not only a happy, but a very safe Halloween.
Another truck arrives with the second shipment of haunt supplies. The crew unloads the pieces that are to make up the mine shaft.
The way the mine shaft works, it's a mirror effect using a 60-degree mirror. So when you're looking down, instead of looking straight down, you're actually looking at the column next to you up.
The only problem is, again, they don't seem to fit through any door of the haunt. So the crew has to cut yet another hole in a different section of the haunt.
We didn't have a door wide enough, so what we did is we cut a hole that was a little bit wider than the piece that we're taking in, and then when we put it back, we'll just seal up the wall back the way it was when we're done.
They finally get the mine shaft pieces through their makeshift door. Once inside, they run into another size problem altogether.
We had measured the room and we knew we needed exactly 11 feet to get everything in. Unfortunately, they hadn't put in the main sprinkler pipe, and it only gave us probably about 10 feet 8 inches instead of 11. And in this game, inches are everything.
We're thinking about flipping it the other direction and building a platform in the front, and then running the bridge off the back of it this way.
Steve and Dan sign off on the alternate design plan. Now it's back to the business of building and assembling. Willie and Jeff build a frame for the high-definition television that will play 3D video of the molten mess at the bottom of the mine shaft.
Let me see your light, Zane. I think it looks awesome.
Can't get no better than that.
Nope.
With the TV in place, it's time to let the lava flow. As you step out of the mine shaft, your footing becomes unstable. With every step, the rickety planks give way. One question remains: will you make it across the springy bridge?
So we got the frame in for the springy bridge. We just have to put the plywood on and support the bottom of it, so it'll hold the weight of the springy bridge coming next week. And then also we're installing this falling wall here. We have a pneumatic piston that is connected to a bracket on the wall, and then which will be connected to an actuator. And the actuator, or the brain, so to speak, will tell it when to move. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is finish putting the Luan on. It's that thin veneer. It's gonna go on over here, over this, and it's gonna be the back support to our vacuum panel. But I got another 2-foot panel will go here. And we'll do that after lunch, because my blood sugar's low. And when your blood sugar's low, you do stupid things like not wear safety glasses. And you drop a lot of screws. And you may cut a finger off.
Coming up, we'll show you the anatomy of a vortex. This one was built from scratch, DIY style.